In Paris, it's 9 o'clock at night on this 17th day of June. The picture you're watching is live from Colombes Stadium in the French capital, where an outdoor crowd of some 35,000 has gathered to watch Carlos Monzón of Argentina defend his world middleweight boxing championship against Claude Boutier, the pride of French boxing. You'll see the fight live today. In Pebble Beach, California, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This picture also is live. And from here today on Wide World, you'll see action in the third round of the U.S. Open Golf Championship as Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Lee Trevino, and a closely bunched pack battle it out. Paris to Pebble and both live. Now that's what you call spanning the globe. Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition. This is ABC's Wide World of Sports. Brought to you by Mercury, where better ideas make better cars. It's as simple as that. Mercury makes better cars at the sign of the cat. And by Polaroid Corporation. Just off the golf course in Carmel Bay. Standing by just about 7,000 miles from here, and also live at this moment as you watch, is my ABC colleague Howard Cosell at Colombes Stadium in Paris. Okay, Howard, let's check in with you right now.
Colombes Stadium in Paris, France on a beautiful night. Paris in the spring and an extraordinary crowd on hand for the middleweight championship of the world bout. Carlos Monzón of Argentina defending against the Frenchman Jean-Claude Boutier. This crowd is absolutely unbelievable, Jim McKay. The French have found a new national hero whom they regard as a throwback to the storied middleweight of the post-World War II era, Marcel Cerdan. They think Boutier can do the job against Monzón. He carries with him the personal glamour of the actor Jean-Paul Belmondo and the skier Jean-Claude Keely. But American and British authorities in boxing think that he also carries a kick in either hand and fleetness of foot and actually has a chance to upset Monzón. However, Monzón is a tough, brawling, strong fighter who has never been knocked down in his whole career, hasn't lost since 1964, and tonight is after vindication because two of his three most recent fights have ended controversially. Let's go back for a look to the Principality of Monaco, May 8th, 1971, third round against Benvenuti. Third round, Monzón against Benvenuti. Benvenuti in the gold trunks. Now watch closely. You saw that behind the nape of the neck, the bottom of the head. Benvenuti down briefly, but up immediately and kicking out the towel that Bruno Amadusi, his manager, had thrown into the ring. But the fight stopped by the Argentine referee. Look at it again. All of us at ringside really thought the way Monzón uses his arms that was more a push than a blow. And as the towel came in, Benvenuti couldn't believe it. Doesn't he look hurt? And hear the boos of the fans. Now this was in Rome, March 5th, 1972, against Denny Moyer in the dark trunks. Moyer waging a real good fight, going at Monzón as much throughout the fight as Monzón went at him. And watch this. There was that quick left, and suddenly the fight stopped again by an Argentine referee. Moyer, unbelievable. Moyer, never a great fighter throughout his career, but holding his own, or so it seemed to most that night. Look at the pellets pouring into the ring, and you can hear the crowd's disfavor speak for itself. Two highly controversial endings in favor of Monzón. Now, this takes you back to September 25th, 1971, Buenos Aires, Argentina, against Emil Griffith, locked in the corner there, and this time Monzón is really pouring it on. 15th round, and there can be no question. Griffith in desperate trouble. Monzón giving it to him with a flurry of combinations, lefts and rights. Griffith defenseless. This fight had to be stopped. And Monzón in this fight using that right of his, which is his best punch, with enormous effectiveness. The last 3 fights of Carlos Monzón. Once again, we're back at the very crowded Colombes Stadium in Paris, France. And tonight there will be a West German referee. The judges will be respectively from Italy and Britain. The fighters, Carlos Monzón, the middleweight champion of the world, and the challenger, Jean-Claude Boutier, will be out in about 10 minutes. The preliminary continues apace, so right now, back to the U.S. Open at Pebble Beach, California, and my good friend Jimmy McKay.
Again, we're back live at Pebble Beach, California. Full coverage of today's third round in 3 hours on Sunday. Right now, however, the action is about to begin at Colombes Stadium, 7,000 miles from here. In the nighttime, outdoors in Paris. Let's go to Howard Cosell.
Colombes Stadium once again. Music, trumpets sounding in the background. An extraordinary scene. Carlos Monzón already in the ring in a black robe with red trim, weighing slightly more than 159 pounds. He's actually got a 40 grams edge, putting it into grams, over Jean-Claude Boutier. And that which you hear in the background will signal the arrival of the local French hero, Jean-Claude Boutier, standing at ringside himself, a party to an Italian broadcast of the fight. Nino Benvenuti, the former middleweight champion of the world, who lost not once but twice to Carlos Monzón. Suddenly, the crowd is relatively quiet because they are all looking for the appearance of Boutier. This scene is reminiscent of the days at the old polo grounds, really. People have mobbed the terraces of neighboring apartments. It's like the places on Coogan's Bluff when they used to watch the Giants play or try to see a great fight. Or for that matter, Bedford Avenue in Brooklyn when they used to watch the Dodgers play one in Brooklyn. And that what still exists at Yankee Stadium. Now, Boutier is coming onto the scene, and you can listen to the swell of the crowd. Signs all over the place, just the way you'd find them at Dodger Stadium in Chavez Ravine or Shea Stadium in New York City or any of the great outdoor stadia in the United States. Boutier, who is 27 years of age. Monzón, who is 29. Boutier, who has paid 3 visits to the United States and is trained in the American style of fighting. Once for a month at Bobby Gleason's gym in New York City. Now he gets into the ring, and listen. His body seemingly frailer than Monzón's. This fight will be ready to go very shortly, and we'll be back right after this message. Just been made by the ring announcer back at ringside at Colombes Stadium, and I presume we'll be having the respective national anthems in just a couple of seconds. Getting back to what I was saying about Boutier. He had a month in Bobby Gleason's gym in New York, then a stint in Los Angeles, and most recently a near month working under the practiced eyes of Angelo Dundee in Miami Beach. Now back to Jimmy McKay for an up-to-the-minute report at Pebble Beach, California.
Again, we're back live at Pebble Beach, and here is Jack Nicklaus, still tied for the lead, along with Kermit Zarley, Bruce Crampton, and Lanny Watkins. The action is ready to begin again in Paris. Let's go to Howard Cosell, live, 7,000 miles away.
Back live at ringside, waiting for the bell for the opening round. Scheduled 15 round, a middleweight championship at stake. Carlos Monzón against the young Frenchman you're now looking at, Jean-Claude Boutier. The referee, a West German Rudolf Durst. The judges, Pierre Brambina of Italy and Roland Dakin of Great Britain. As the first round progresses, I'll fill you in on the scoring system and the rest of the rules. Quickly, it's a 10-point must system, 10 points to the winner of a round. Mandatory 8 count in effect. 3 knockdowns in 1 round. The fight ends. No saving by the bell. You cannot end this fight by throwing in a towel, and a warning by the referee for an alleged foul or infraction will not stop the clock. The clock will continue to run for the round. The two fighters both virtually at 159 pounds. Monzón with a record of 76 victories, 3 losses, 9 draws, and 1 no contest. Boutier with 57 victories, 3 defeats, 1 draw. But Boutier is yet to meet the likes of Monzón. Monzón with a whistling right hand that he uses effectively in combinations with the left, particularly to the midsection. Boutier, not the stand-up, classic-style European fighter because of the reasons I earlier stated, the training in the United States. A fighter with movement, a quick, brisk puncher by repute. And according to Angie Dundee, surprisingly possessed of a good right hand, which European fighters do not generally have. Watch Monzón use the right, and watch him use his arms and elbows and shoulders as he pours in. Monzón, of course, in the black trunks with the red trim, and Boutier with the white trunks and the black trim. Boutier, the French middleweight champion. Monzón, 5'11 and a half. Almost. Boutier, 5'9". Monzón trying combination there, left and a right. No damage done. We've got about 40 seconds left in the first round. By our clock, there is no official clock on the board here. In fact, there is no scoreboard here. There's Monzón trying to put it to Boutier on the ropes. Monzón with the appearance of a light heavyweight. Tall and strong. Using that right, as you saw a moment ago. Second round just starting Colombes Stadium. Extraordinary crowd in attendance, rooting for their hero Boutier, but what a tough nut to crack. Of special significance, I suspect, as Monzón scores with 2 quick left jabs. The size of this ring, reportedly 17 feet, which would be very small. I paced it off. It's only 16 feet, which doesn't give Boutier as much room for movement that his type of fighter would like to have. Monzón enormously impressive with his strength. He likes to keep coming. He likes to be the aggressor, which he has been thus far in the fight, though there is no damage of any sort thus far. Boutier will keep slipping and sliding, as you just saw him do. Boutier a counterpuncher. However, some people think that for this fight, he should go after Monzón. Opponents rarely have, and some feel that it might be the right tactic. There was a combination, and the right got into the left side of Boutier's face, really more the neck. Boutier left, followed by a glancing right by Monzón. Monzón about as confident a fighter as you'd ever want to see. We are 5 seconds shy of 2 minutes into the second round. Boutier was hurt against the ropes quickly with a Monzón right. Boutier is attempting continued movement, as you can see. There was a right to the midsection that did no damage by Monzón. Monzón the aggressor in the fight, and there he got in a left-right-left series. A right to the midsection where he loves to land. "20 seconds to go in the second round. And a pause with the clock still running to lift up Boutier's trunks. Monzón stalking. The end of round 2, and we'll follow Jean-Claude Boutier to his corner. So far in the 2 rounds, no serious damage done, but Monzón the aggressor. Monzón stalking after Boutier, who is himself known as a counterpuncher, and who's going to have to, at some point, get into Monzón. Monzón is not, by the way, a difficult fighter to hit, but he seems impervious to punishment. He is what we call an arm puncher. As you look at the ring scene, and you see Monzón getting his instructions, he is an arm puncher, rarely punches short and crisp, and yet, almost uniquely, gets enormous power into that right, which he wings from a distance. We'll be coming up for round 3 in just 10 seconds. I would estimate the crowd is anywhere from 35 to 50,000 people. People. Bell for round 3. Colombes Stadium. Monzón, black trunks, red trim, and Boutier, the French champion, white trunks with black trim. Monzón coming in with a left to the upper chest. Monzón with that straight-up, stalking style. Always coming after the opponent. The crowd yelling at a Boutier left of no consequence. Boutier with a left there. Part of it off Monzón's glove. But remember, this crowd, understandably, there was a right, but that too was slipped pretty well by Boutier. This crowd will understandably react enormously over any Boutier swing. Boutier, however, forcing the fight more in this round than in the prior 2. Quick word from Pebble Beach as ABC continues its live coverage from 2 different continents. Blankus and Lanny Watkins, the incredible youngster from Wake Forest, tied for the lead in the U.S. Open at 1 under. What a cocky kid that Watkins is. Palmer and Nicklaus are at even par, and what a story, as Jimmy McKay said, Palmer is right. We're hearing the crowd's excitement over the fact that as Boutier has shown much more aggressiveness in this round. Little more than 20 seconds left in this, the 3rd round. Monzón, black trunks, Boutier, white. Hear the chant, Boutier, Boutier, Boutier. Round 4 at Colombes Stadium. Monzón against Boutier. Middleweight championship of the world at stake. Monzón in the black, Boutier in the white. So far, the fight a substantial yawn, but you never can tell. All of the excitement so far is lodged in this extraordinary French crowd and their anticipation and their hope. Boutier trying with the left, but not getting through, missing with that one. Monzón with a meaningless complaint to the official. That official, by the way, a West German, Rudolf Durst, and an Italian judge and a British judge. Monzón, a left and a right and a left to Boutier's head, but not with the usual Monzón power. Boutier in a crouch, escaping damage. In case you didn't know, we're watching professional boxing. We'll be doing amateur Olympic boxing. We'll be doing the trials in just a couple of weeks, and then, of course, in the 20th Olympiad from Munich, West Germany. Monzón complaining again to the official. We have 20 seconds left in the 4th round. Fourth round, nothing. We'll be back right after this message. We are in the 5th round at Colombes Stadium. Monzón defending middleweight champion against the challenger, Jean-Claude Boutier of France. Monzón in the black trunks, Boutier in the white trunks. And after 4 rounds of action, we would have to put that word in quotes, because the action has been sparse. Overall, relatively, the aggressor, Monzón, but not yet doing damage to Boutier, who is slipping and moving and fighting a clever fight, I would guess, based upon his fighting capacity. Forget the yell of the crowd, the right did not land. Remember, this is a very small ring, only 16 feet. It would be tailored, one would think, precisely for the Monzón style, because Monzón keeps coming and there is less room for the adversary to run, to move. On the other side of the coin, you've got to give it thus far, despite the lack of effective punching by either man, you've got to give it to Boutier for his constancy of movement within that tiny periphery. He is circling always to the left and then sliding back and forth, left and right. Now he's coming in at Monzón, trying to get inside. Seems to be growing in his confidence at the moment. Boutier confesses readily to being afraid in the dressing room before every fight, but that's just candor. That happens with every fighter. Fear is an ever-present element. Deep inside a man who fights. Fifth round action. Monzón against Boutier. Boutier showing lots of movement and thus far escaping damage, and indeed slightly the aggressor in the last couple of rounds. Only 6 seconds left in the round. Well, that's the end of round 5. You know, among the many exciting sports ABC will cover this summer at the Olympic Games will be boxing. In a few weeks, the finest amateur boxers in the nation will compete for the 11 berths on the team at the Olympic trials, and ABC will be there. And beginning August 26th and continuing through September 10th, ABC Sports will present the world's greatest sporting spectacle, the 20th Summer Olympics via satellite from Munich, West Germany. Will feature unprecedented television coverage of international sports excitement. As you know, America's finest young athletes are now competing for a place on our Olympic team. But it takes a lot of money to put them in this world competition. Fortunately, every American can help. Here's how. Send $5 to Olympic House, 57 Park Avenue, New York, 116. In return, you'll receive a new colorful embroidered Olympic emblem for your jacket or hat. You can be proud who helped send our team to the 1972 Olympic Games. You heard the warning buzzer. Coming up, round 6. There they go, Monzón against Boutier. Monzón, the taller man. Monzón with the more upright stance. Monzón with the lesser movement, but the steady pursuit. Boutier with lots of movement. There was a good right that got in. That was a good punch. Monzón's right to the side of Boutier's head. Now, using the arms and shoulders the way he does, and another right, Monzón has Boutier hurt. He's still moving. Boutier fighting back. Blood coming from the left nostril as a result of one of those rights. Boutier must keep his head and keep his movement. There's another right by Monzón. That right can kill you. There's a good left, and he's staggered. Boutier was staggered briefly. Fighting on, coming in now and punching. But when it comes to a slugging match, one would hardly think that he has the power to go against Monzón. He's in trouble, and he's being belted around the ring, Boutier is. Got in a left to Monzón, trying to come back. Monzón trying to measure. The crowd worried now, cheering for their man, but worried. Boutier showing that he's a tough little cookie. There, he went down on that left. As the mandatory 8 count, Boutier directly above us, and it happened suddenly here in the 6th round. It happened with an initial right that set Boutier up, staggered him. And now, Monzón is hitting him all over the ring, punching him at will. Boutier in trouble, real trouble. Still fighting on. Monzón just trying to measure. We've got 50 seconds left in this, the 6th round. Referee Durst separating them, then calling for the action to begin. Monzón got him with a left. The crowd mistakenly cheering Boutier, who was merely laying on Monzón. That's all. Blood from the left nostril. No other sign of facial damage yet on Boutier. That's what I mean by winging. You see, Boutier did not knock him down. Did not knock him down. Did not knock him down. Yeah, you see referee Durst indicating the fight continues apace. He fell over him and pushed him down. 10 seconds left in round 6. Well, that's the end of the round. They continued fighting after the round. Boutier falling all over Monzón. When I said that's what I mean by winging it, as we look first at Boutier in his corner, I was referring, excuse me, to the wide swings of Carlos Monzón as he attempted to level his man once and for all, but couldn't do so. A knockdown in that round against Boutier. The mandatory 8 count. Boutier being belted all over the ring, but staying on his feet after that one knockdown and fighting back. As we show it to you on slow motion. The slow motion of the second knockdown, which was not. Don't be misled. That was no knockdown of Carlos Monzón. That was a slip, not a slip, a pushdown, declared so by referee Durst. Now we've got the 7th round going. Boutier trying to fight back. Hurt and in trouble the last round and knocked down up at the mandatory 8 count. It was a right that started. After that, punishing combinations. Winding up with a left that caused him to go down. Boutier in the black trunk, in the white trunks, Monzón in the black. Round 7. And in the 6th round, suddenly we had action. Now we're a minute into the 7th round. There's Monzón trying to level Boutier again as Boutier tries to get inside and do some damage. Remember, Monzón never even knocked down in his fighting career. That's what gives him such enormous confidence. We're coming to you live via the satellite from Paris, France, Colombes Stadium. Colombes means dove. That name was given to it because this place was built for the Olympics held in Paris in the 20s during the lifetime of Baron de Coubertin, who, of course, originated the Olympic Games. The two men in the ring are not doves. Half a minute to go in the 7th round, and Boutier is trying to fight back from the knockdown in the 6th round. "15 seconds to go. Round 8 coming up. Middleweight championship at stake. Don't forget, the minute this fight is over, back live to Pebble Beach, California. The 3rd round of the U.S. Open, and now Zolli has tied with Lanny Watkins and Homero Blancas for the lead at present at 1 under par. Kermit Zolli, a name always up there. I should have said golf will be after a Wide World of Sports has concluded its normal program time. 5:30 Eastern Time. That's when we go to Pebble Beach. Chris Schenkel, Jim McKay, Frank Gifford, Bill Fleming, the one and only Byron Nelson, Davey Marr, and all the rest. Unprecedented coverage. In the meantime, round 8 continues apace. Live via the satellite from Paris, France, with Anywhere from 35 to 50,000, primarily French people here to cheer for Boutier. There's been one knockdown in the fight. That occurred in the 6th round. Monzón decked Boutier. No, not a knockdown. Up, must get those trunks up. A reminder to our affiliate stations down the line, if the opportunity presents itself, we will go to station identification at the conclusion of this, the 8th round. I'll tell you, if Boutier were to do real damage to Monzón, there'd be no containing this crowd. Notice how those rights of Monzón come from way off. This means he can be hit. The problem is to do damage and to risk getting inside to hit him because of the damage he can do to you with his terrific right-handed punch. We'll be back for more of Wide World of Sports after this pause for station identification. Round 9 at Colombes Stadium, middleweight championship bout. Monzón black trunks, white trunks for Jean-Claude Boutier. One knockdown in the fight thus far, that in the 6th round. Monzón floored Boutier. Nearly everybody at ringside has Monzón ahead. The question is the margin. Some make it close. Some have Monzón ahead by as many as 4 points. Remember, this fight is being scored on a mandatory 10-point system. The winner of the round gets 10 points. The loser usually gets 9. In the event of a knockdown, the man knocked down usually gets 8 points, possibly less if it's a devastatingly bad round for him. Apart from that 6th round, this fight has not really seen any effective punching. In the 6th round, Monzón punched effectively. There was a good left gotten in by Boutier. Did no apparent harm to Monzón, but scored a point. That's why you have to watch Monzón. When your head is down, you've led with the left, leaving yourself open to his right. There's Boutier pursuing Monzón. The crowd yelling because he pursued, but it was Boutier himself who got a good left to the face. Well, we've been 2 minutes through this round. Warning to Boutier by referee Durst. This is not one of the all-time great bouts, but at the same time, Boutier's style has not been conducive to a scintillating performance by Monzón. There's Monzón with those wide house rights. A left and a right got into Monzón. He was pushed back. Guy's made of iron. World Middleweight Championship at stake, Monzón defending. And don't ever try to score a fight over here. 10 seconds left in round 9. Well, it's the end of the round, and let's take a look at Carlos Monzón in his corner this time. Spin slide, punches. Tough little cookie. A lot of heart. All right by Monzón. Oh, it would mean so much from the point of view of the French people were Boutier to be able to win this fight. Marcel Cerdan, one of the nation's all-time heroes, really, because he was more than boxing to the French people. He became the middleweight champion, Cerdan did, in 1948. The post-World War II era, when the French people were still numbstruck by the Nazi troops that had come into and taken over their land. And suddenly a whole surge of physical pride and spirit in their nation again, provided by Marcel Cerdan. And how they'd like to think that Boutier could be another Cerdan. A warning to Monzón, but again, rabbit punching thing of no real consequence. A slip, obviously. Monzón is having trouble hitting Boutier cleanly. Boutier did get in a left hook. And you've got to give Boutier's style credit for that. Don't forget, coming up immediately after the Wide World of Sports, the U.S. Open, live from Pebble Beach, California, with ABC's record coverage, beginning a big weekend. And our latest report, a tripartite tie for first at the moment. Zolli, Watkins, and Blankus at 1 under. Nicklaus and Palmer close behind. Anybody's tournament. We only have 25 seconds left in this, the 10th round. "15 seconds left. We'll be back in a moment. Round 11 underway. The middleweight championship at stake, Colombes Stadium. Tremendous crowd. Boutier hanging in there in the white trunks. Monzón in the black trunks. A reminder, one knockdown in the fight. Monzón knocked Boutier down in the 6th round. First with a right and then a series combination. Crowd in the background exalting Jean-Claude Boutier on. And word from Pebble Beach, California, 3rd round U.S. Open, as Boutier tried to get Monzón in the corner but failed, and now Monzón is going after him. In Pebble Beach, Kermit Zolli, the current leader, at 1 under par. Lanny Watkins and Homero Blankus at even par. Nicklaus at 1 over par, and Palmer close behind. But here the fight goes on in the 11th round. Boutier grimly hanging in there, showing a lot of courage, a lot of heart, and showing a lot of movement, and showing a lot of aggressiveness that wasn't really expected of him by most. Monzón had his chance to put Boutier away in the 6th round and couldn't quite do it. Got Monzón in the right side of his neck. Monzón trying to work on the belly, then up with the right. But those arm punches are really telegraphed. The crowd excited because Monzón got hit with a left and his head shot back. There's another left in the clinch. Less than a minute left in the 11th round. Boutier showing himself to be a tough little fighter. Boutier had Monzón's head, wrestling him around the ring. Boutier in with a left. Boutier again was scoring with a left. Boutier with a good round. Notice that continuing movement now in the 11th round. Give him a lot of credit there. Monzón got him with a right. 10 seconds left. Round 12, and the fight grows more interesting. Boutier in the white trunks, Monzón, the defending middleweight champion, in the black trunks. Boutier coming on in at least 2 of the last 3 rounds. Boutier showing that he's got a lot of heart. And Boutier with steady movement, not enabling Monzón to deliver the strong punches that we've seen him in the past. Also, Boutier with a much better ability to take a punch than the relatively ancient Nino Benvenuti at the times when Monzón fought him. Warning about the open glove. See how far away Monzón throws those punches from. Oh, a right. But it didn't really hurt Boutier. It was misleading. He was hunched over and fell forward, but not really hurt. There's a right that sent him back. We are watching 12th round action. Yes, the 12th round. World Middleweight Championship at stake, live via the satellite from Colombes Stadium in Paris, France. Monzón, of course, in the black trunks, the taller man with the straight-up style. Boutier in the white trunks. Boutier dancing, dancing, dancing in the Angelo Dundee pattern, because a very recent near month was spent in the 5th Street Gym under the watchful tutelage of Angie, who of course handles Muhammad Ali, Jimmy Ellis, and others. We're coming up close to the 2-minute mark in the 12th round. And of course, Boutier had good training in Bobby Gleason's gym in New York too, and also in Los Angeles. He learned to eat American-style breakfast, bacon and eggs, gave up the cafe and croissants. That is the French landmark, the early morning meal. There is a slit on the right side of Boutier's right eye and just a trickle of blood. Nothing at all serious at this point. Gutsy little fighter. Amazing hold he has on the people of this country. Some people love him as much as they did Jean-Claude Quien, the great skier. Now we're in the 13th round. And the fight has been stopped. The fight has been stopped, and Monzón is the winner in the 13th round. Now this time it's being done by a nonpartisan referee, and there can be no question about it. The fight is stopped. Monzón is the winner and still the champion, and the reason must apparently be, as I go up into the ring, the right eye of Jean-Claude Boutier, but let's go up and check. We'll be back in a moment. On ABC's Wide World of Sports, we'll be in Des Plaines, Illinois for the U.S. Men's Olympic Gymnastics Trials. The nation's leading male competitors, including John Crosby, Makoto Sakamoto, and Steve Hugg, will be competing in events such as still rings, horizontal bar, and parallel bars. They will be vying for berths on the U.S. team heading for Munich this summer. Also, next Saturday, an event you've enjoyed before, the International Grand Prix Motocross Motorcycle Championship from Carlsbad, California. Riders attain speeds of over 80 miles an hour on the straightaways before braking sharply for the tight turns. At stake for the entrants from Belgium, West Germany, Czechoslovakia, and the United States is more than $15,000 in prize money. So be sure to join us next Saturday at 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 Central, and Pacific time for ABC's Wide World of Sports. Carlos from... All right, our interpreter, George Crew. Was he surprised that the fight was stopped?
¿Te sorprendió que se paró el combate?
Bueno, creo que Boutier ya no quería más, estaba muy deshecho y creo que este no terminaba la pelea.
He was in bad shape and they didn't want to go on with the fight.
What for? What was the principal reason? The eye?
Por el ojo, por el ojo. Por el ojo.
No, por el ojo, si ustedes lo vieron que estaba agotado de las trompadas que había ligado.
No, but he was just exhausted. It's not the eye. He was just exhausted.
Exhausted. Was he surprised by the performance Boutier gave?
¿Te sorprendió la performance de Boutier?
Bueno, la verdad que sí, un muchacho joven que dentro de 2 años creo que cuando yo deje el boxeo, el futuro campeón del mundo.
Within a couple of years you'll see him world champion, I think.
Where does he go from here? There's no middleweight left for Carlos to beat. Is he going to step up to the light heavyweight?
Vas a hacer light heavyweight después.
¿Otra pelea?
Vas a seguir.
Sí, cómo no. Ahora
go on. ¿Y ahora?
Ahora, dentro de 15 días, vuelvo al gimnasio para pelear con otro, para defender el título de nuevo.
¿A dónde?
En la Argentina.
I'm going to Argentina to defend a new title.
A new title. Another middleweight title defense. All right. There go our lights. Congratulations, Carlos. Absolute bedlam in the ring. The fight stopped because apparently Boutier was completely exhausted. The slit on the right eye, which did not do any real apparent damage, seemed for a moment to be a cause because the ending was unexpected. But this time there can be no question. Carlos Monzón, with a neutral referee, that is a neutral country judges, has successfully defended the middleweight championship of the world. So, from Colombes Stadium in Paris, France, let's go back to my colleague Bill Owen in New York. Howard Cosell reporting.
Well, thank you, Howard Cosell from Colombes Stadium in Paris, France. A rather abrupt conclusion to our fight. Monzón over Boutier. It ended abruptly at the beginning of the 13th round. And as happened so often in the career of Monzón, it ends suddenly and with a smidgen of controversy once again. Coming up on our ABC coverage of the sports world, another international classic, the U.S. Open, Pebble Beach, California, and some excitement has been generated there this afternoon. Kermit Zarley, one of the big names, and of course he's moved up to the front, and Homero Blancas. We'll be following all the golfers. Lee Trevino, Arnold Palmer had a good day yesterday and doing very well today, all from Pebble Beach, California. Right now, ABC's Wide World of Sports coverage takes you back to Friday before last and the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, where Jim Ryan, one of the